Hi, everyone. We are so excited today because we are here with three amazing authors, Pam Jenoff, Molly Fader, and Hannah Mary McKinnon. Today, they'll be chatting about writing, reading, and what goes on behind the scenes of your favorite books. So, first question, what is your favorite or most frustrating part of the writing process?
Well, I'm in it. I'll go first because I'm living it right now. The 30,000 words, the wheels come off, and it feels like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've written a bunch of books, and there's always a part of the book that feels like I don't know what I'm doing, and I should probably stop and get another job. And that's where I'm in right now. So that's the most frustrating part. And I think the fact that I don't honestly remember it. Like it's always a shock and a surprise and a sort of debilitating moment.
So I don't know if you've heard this, but I've heard there's two types of writers: plotters, the people who write in a chronological fashion, and pantsers. And pantsers are people like me who write by the seat of their pants. And so I go like this. I have an idea and I turn on a computer and I go blah for like 4 to 6 months, and thousands of words come out in random order. So my initial part of the process is very fun. Like I'm just like la la la, putting these words down. So for me, the hardest part is revision, because editing that mess is horrendous. I don't recommend it to anybody.
And that's really interesting because, unlike Pam, I am not a pantser, I am a plotter. And I don't particularly enjoy the initial drafting stage, my skeleton draft, where I too just go bleh. But I underwrite because I know that I'm going to write more and add more afterwards. But I prefer the revision stage because I find it much easier to edit a page with something on it, whether it's good or bad, mainly bad, to be honest. But then I prefer that part rather than the initial, I have a blank page and I think I know what should go on it, but I don't feel confident.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. And I wonder if that's a plotter pantser thing, because I'm a plotter as well.
Interesting.
If the editing process, that's like where my book happens. I mean, what's happening now is not a book. So that's an interesting.
Interesting.
Second question, is there a specific author or book that has really inspired your writing career, and what is it about them that inspires you?
Oh, I'll take that one if I can. So I have a long-standing love affair with Lisa Jewell's books.
Oh, yeah.
And I discovered her at an airport in about 1999. And I just fell in love with her first book, and I have all of her books. And I love the way she went from writing the more light-hearted rom-com-y stuff to more family drama, and that now she's firmly in the domestic suspense arena. So I love her books, and she's had a big impact, I think.
Have you gotten to tell her that?
I have. We're friends on Facebook. So yes, I have. Yeah.
One of
That's
the
what I thought you were talking about, a title of a book, because that sounds like a Lisa Jewell title. Like, tell her that.
Do you have one?
Well, the one that I was thinking of is like a beginner, like what made me interested in writing, which would be Ellen Montgomery's Emily of New Moon series. So when I read that book as a kid, I was like, oh, a writer is a job you can have. That's a thing you could do. And I just loved the way Emily, the character in the book, felt about words and about books, and how it, opened up parts of her to other people and other people to her. I just always liked that. That spoke to me a lot.
So for me, while there's many fiction books that have affected me, I'm going to go with a particular writing book, which is called Writing Down the Bones by Natalie Goldberg. And Goldberg takes what's known as a Zen Buddhist approach to writing, whereby you start your hand moving and you don't stop to edit, which is probably where my pantser self comes from. But that book just completely broke me open as a new writer.
Interesting. Sounds like torture to me. Could not do that.
All right, so related to that, actually, for all the aspiring authors out there watching, what books do you recommend they pick up?
Bird by Bird, Anne Lamott. Anne Lamott's a beautiful writer. No matter what she writes, nonfiction, fiction, she will break you wide open in a way that I like. But she wrote a book about writing, and it's called Bird by Bird, and I love it. I read it probably every year.
I love Stephen King's On Writing. I found that really, really helpful and insightful. And I also really love Save the Cat for the plotters out there, or maybe the pantsers who wish to go to planters or plotters. Save the Cat is great. They've come out with Save the Cat writes a novel. So I haven't read that one yet, but Save the Cat was really good for structuring for me, for the plotting process.
So I agree about Save the Cat, especially for a pantser who needs structure. Save the Cat, and I am reading Save the Cat Writes a Novel right now, actually. And in addition to writing down the bones, I also like Donald Moss writing the breakout novel.
Yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah.
That's a classic, yeah.
All right. Are you active in any reading communities or online book clubs? And do you feel like interacting with readers helps the writing process?
So absolutely, I think the greatest thing about this internet age is the ability for readers and writers to connect on a sustained, ongoing basis and have meaningful conversations about books. So I like too many online groups to name, but in particular, Great Thoughts, Great Reads is one that I'm on, and every Friday everyone posts what they are reading, and I just kind of open one browser to order all those books, so that I see.
fun.
Yeah. So that's a good one. How about you?
A novel bee. I'm also in that one, but a novel bee is another one that I really like on Facebook. And I've joined a number of private book clubs by Skype. They've sent me messages and said, could you Skype in, or they contacted me on Instagram or whatever. And that's always fun, just to be beamed into somebody's living room and chat about the book and rewrite the ending or whatever. That's wonderful. And honestly, I have to say, it's that kind of feedback that keeps me going when I get stuck and I'm thinking everything I've written is just rubbish and I'm going to press Control A delete. And it's the feedback from people saying that they really enjoyed the books that makes me think, oh, maybe I could do this again.
Yeah, it's a good reminder. It is a good reminder to hear from readers. I've had I have like a private Facebook group for my fans and I, and that's been kind of outrageous too. Like that's just been like opening it up. It feels like we just sort of constantly sing little love songs to each other. Thank you, readers. Thank you, Molly. Like it's a lovely environment. But I've also been a part of a in-person book club, like in my life for years and years and years, and two over a course of time. I love book clubs are important.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Next question is, which book character do you most relate to, either from your own books or books from another author?
Oh, someone else go.
I'll take that one for 50 points.
Yeah, they're yours.
I would say out of my books, it's probably Haley in Time After Time, simply because of the place I was at when I wrote the book. So she's frustrated with her life and not very happy, and that was me when I came to Canada, actually, and how I got into writing. But if I had to pick a fictional character, can I go with Hermione Granger?
Oh,
because I was the goody two shoes.
Hermione Granger.
No, but you can.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'd have to pick her because I was the goody two shoes, who then later maybe became a bit of a rebel, but not really. Never been a rebel. So.
No, you go.
So in my latest book, The Lost Girls of Paris, there are 3 female narrators, and I actually feel like I relate to each of them a little bit differently. So there's Grace, who's a war widow in 1946 Manhattan trying to figure out her life, and I relate to her sense of what comes next. There's Marie, who's a young agent who's been dropped into 1944 occupied Europe, and she's a mother, and I relate to her struggle between being a parent and duty. And then there's the spy handler in London in 1945, and she's this very kind of quirky outsider, and enough said about why I relate to that.
I would like that one too. I'm a quirky outsider who's also a spy master.
So,
perfect. Yeah, perfect. We'll go with that. No, I would say for me, mine is Emily of New Moon. If I'm going to go back to that, like the Emily of New Moon really sort of resonates with me.
All right, and last question, but it's a classic. If you were stuck on a desert island and you could only bring one of your own books with you, which one would you pick?
Own books.
The one I'm working on right now,
Oh,
just so that I could get it done.
Yes.
And I then maybe figure out what it is about.
I would either do that Or if I was being sneaky,
Mm.
I'd take my first one because it was digital only, which implies I'm allowed to take my iPad, which implies I have
Oh.
electricity, so it's not that bad of a desert island.
I'm going on
Right.
Survivor with you. That was awesome.
Yeah, right.
I was part of an anthology called Grand Central a few years ago, and honestly, I would take that because it was written with 9 other female authors, and our stories all intersected on the same day in 1945 in Grand Central. And so I would not feel quite as alone on that desert island if I had someone else's work with me.
That's you were really clever in that you just now got like 9 extra books.
I got
Yes.
9 extra
You guys
books,
really
yes,
worked
my
around
friend.
that
And
one.
big shout outs to all the other authors. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for talking with us today. It's always fascinating to get the inside scoop. And thank you to all of our viewers for tuning in.